And welcome back once again, ladies and gentlemen, to the ESL ESEA Pro League here for North America on this Sunday evening. My name is Blue. Joining me back once again is Moses, and we've got 6 more matches and 6 more hours of Pro League coverage here. And we're going to start it right off with the rematch from last night, which is a game that ended up going into triple overtime. So Moses, I don't know if you were able to watch it, but just your general impressions going into this, taking a look at these two teams.
No, I didn't see it. I was in Chicago all weekend at a wedding, so I was busy. I was occupied, but that sounds insane. Triple overtime. Yeah, and it's like complexity's a pretty solid team. I think they're making kind of a bid to be like that best in that like next tier down from, you know, like there's CLG, there's Liquid, there's Cloud9, and like Luminosity, and that's kind of like my tier 1 in North America. And I think complexity is kind of like the top of that next tier of teams right below it. And they've had a really good start to the Pro League. I mean, they've played more matches, so they're not going to be in that top 4 as they have been, but they've looked pretty good and they've made some solid improvements so far. And I just think Automatic and Segs together is like a really good duo of two really talented young players.
And as we talk a little bit more about that match last night there too, and talk about some of the performances that came out of Follow eSports, it's really to no surprise at all, the big star, as he has been for most of this team's history so far, was Desi. He was going absolutely crazy for that team. Top fragger, pulling out incredible plays for him and doing an absolutely really good job. Another big surprise too, at least sort of in the earlier portions of the evening when they played another game, and sort of in the beginning parts of this this game when it was played last night between Complexity once again. Wabbit actually did a fantastic job too as an opper, was pulling off some incredible plays. And going back complexity for a moment, Semphis too, another player that you're definitely going to be wanting to watch out for tonight, is he's still as potent and as strong as he's ever been here this season, and kind of coming in from last season too, although it definitely wasn't as strong last season just because the team was not looking as good as this one was.
I'm pretty pumped to see Desi on this squad. I think this actually might be good for him. I mean, it's no secret he's been like bounced around Pro League because he's just so talented, but he hasn't found like a lineup that he's been able to fit into, and hopefully this is something that he can be permanent in this lineup. But he's a player that requires a lot of freedom to basically just unleash him and let him do whatever he wants. You kind of have to play around his style, which is like a high risk, high reward. So you kind of have to, you know, allow him to make those gamble plays and see what happens, because he can be a very effective player that way. So hopefully he sticks with this lineup and they can form some good stuff moving forward. But I think complexity right now is just going to be too much for him. Although you said they wanted to triple over. What map was that on? That triple
was on
time
Cash.
On Cash.
It was 8-7 in both halves there, favoring the T side both times, I believe. So it was a pretty close matchup. We definitely saw it was really odd too, because it was a bit I would say overall it was a bit unfortunate for Follow eSports, because they were in a position about, I would say, 3 times that matchup where they could have potentially just won it outright there. They started off the game, and I believe they got to about 7 or 8 points before we even saw Complexity getting onto the board on their T side, as they started off CT. So they just started running away with it right from the get-go. But then things sort of fell apart there, and once they picked up those 8 points, we just saw the players from or picked up the 7 points at least. We just saw the players from Complexity roll right back, and I think they only picked up 1 round for the entire half. So something got dropped there, and the same thing kind of happened in the second half there too. They picked up about 4 to 5 rounds there, got another big lead, about a 5 to 6 point lead against the players from Complexity, and they managed to swing that comeback once again. They tied it up at 15 points, and we're going back and forth at each other for the first 2 overtimes, but it seems Follow eSports just kind of lost their steam by the third one, and finally Complexity was able to close it out 4-0.
Yeah, and that's kind of interesting that it was on Cash, because that map has a lot of similarities to Dust2, with like a very, very crucial, you know, mid portion of the map that you have to be able to control to do a lot of different things. You can, you know, do those pitches on the B bomb sites in both maps. So I mean, pretty interesting similarities. So I mean, this is a match that, based on that, I think this could actually be pretty close as well.
Well, it does look like we're going to be starting off potentially 4 versus 5, at least in the knife round, so I'm not 100% sure as to where the 5th player from Complexity is, but it looks like he won't be joining us. Who is that? Who's missing right now?
Thanks.
Thanks, yeah.
There's 2 of them missing, actually, because Warden's the coach.
So it looks like, according to our admins, yeah, it looks like we're going to be going live with a 4 versus 5, so Follow eSports, they might get another opportunity to swing a victory and get some revenge.
Well, it's Sanks and Roca are missing, and I know Roca was at Fragadelphia, so perhaps either Warden's just flat out playing for him tonight. I don't know if he was playing last night, or Roca's just not able to get home or doesn't have a PC to use at the event, so it's kind of interesting.
He was with them. He was with them last night, so he was able to get home. But according to what the admins are telling us, I think that Warden is supposed to be a fill-in tonight for Roka, but the 5th player is just straight up missing right now. So
that's good.
Absolutely. So it looks like more than likely we'll probably have Follow Esports. They're gonna get the knife round victory here, assuming that the timer doesn't run out. But even so, they'll win it out anyway, and then they get to choose their start. And obviously, 4 versus 5 that throws quite a big boat over to the Follow Esports side without really needing any further explanation.
Yeah, and this is pretty interesting. I feel like they're just like stalling for time right now, trying to give a few extra minutes for them to show up or something. But also, I mean, Follow Esports doesn't have to move because they're going to win if time runs out.
Yep, so they're just sitting against the wall. Semphis now realizes that they're not going to... I think they might have been trying to set a trap there too, but that's not going to work out. And like now they're going to run.
Oh boy. Good start to the match, to the game.
This is a good start to the night, man. We got 6 hours of this.
Yeah, you were here all yesterday, so you'd had like another 6-hour day last night. Dang.
I also just casted 2 best-of-3s earlier, man. I'm going ham this weekend.
You are watching a lot of Counter-Strike these days.
Yes, I am, man. Gotta working hard.
Welcome to the party.
Absolutely. All right. So obviously, Follow Esports come out on top, but they choose the T side to start off. Then there, I believe. So they're going to start that one off, and we're going to go right into it. So this is I think I misspoke before. If I remember correctly, I think I said that Follow Esports started off on the CT side on that cache map, but I'm kind of trying to pull back from it. But I'm pretty sure they actually started off T side yesterday. So with that said, they're going to jump onto that once again, bringing in the strength from it. And unfortunately for compLexity, they're down a man. So obviously, yeah, that's a pretty big disadvantage.
Yeah, I'd certainly say so. But either way, Semphis has a lot of intel in mid, and they're actually going to walk right into him. So he's going to have a chance here. He's even stacked up with Warden on catwalk, a little bit of an opportunity to get an early pick, but he falls back straight away. Warden still peering into lower B, but actually Semphis, he's going to get surprised. There's going to be 3 people coming out mid very soon on him, and he's going to have to be careful.
They were a little bit loud with it, though, so he should have been able to hear them. Nonetheless, though, he's just going to get ripped to shreds. Warden sneaks out, though, gets the response, then automatic Warden, and they just shut it down right from the get-go here. Wabbit, in the meantime, is going to be able to find a free entry into this B site, but now he's working a 1-on-2. Got armor, but no additional utility to work with at this point either. Warden and Valen should have a pretty easy time closing this one out. All they've got to do is figure out where he is, and I'm pretty sure Warden already has an idea that he might be pushing into this site to begin with.
Yeah, well, it was obviously a mid to B split, so they know the bomb is wanting to go towards this B site, so they have their attention on it. I don't think he's been spotted quite yet, but that's the thing. That's a good defense, even with the man down. Warden playing so close on catwalk, able to get that quick flank, and they actually find themselves in a really good spot, despite being a man down, and Wabbit makes a little bit of noise waiting for any kind of aggression. He's going to peek out. He's trying to find a 1 versus 1, but they're not giving it to him, and there's 2. Both of them peek. Warden and Valens are able to close it out. 3 kill for Coach Warden. Coach Dean.
And what was interesting about that, too, when you take a look at it, is actually Wabbit got through the door to a position where he could have just planted the bomb. At least he got the extra $800 on the board, but chooses to just instead take the duel there, which is a bit unfortunate. So now his team's not going to have that extra money, and that eliminates the potential to save up here and go for a 3rd round buy.
Yeah, that's why you're going to see these Tech 9s and armors picked up. I mean, even Ocean he doesn't even get armor. He just goes for all the utility. They're going to head over towards long, maybe a delayed execute. Valens is going to have to be careful once these flashbangs start streaming over. Actually, it's looking like it's going to be up towards mid, where Warden's playing catwalk all alone. Semphis and CT spawn once again, and the terrorists are going to start creeping up. And Warden with this M4, this is an option for him to be able to spray a couple down and just survive by falling down onto the ramp and getting support from his teammates.
Gonna hold them back with a flash now, but they go into this anyway. Picks 1 up, but he's way too far committed to that one, so Wabbit's gonna be able to pick things up. Keep in mind, that's still a man up now for Follow Esports, but in comes Valen, ripping him to shreds. Picks up 2. Ocean heavily lit down to 14 HP as another frag almost comes out for these guys. And as he pushes through, Valen's just gonna jump through. He spots Ocean on the way back. Desi did pick up another kill there too, but Valen's cuts down Ocean before he can escape. And now it's all gonna be on Desi at this point, trying to clutch it out, but everybody on compLexity is still at full HP, so the odds are definitely against him, and more than likely, they can just play it very passively and wait until he makes a mistake.
Yeah, they have the bomb down as well. They know exactly where he's at, so you can see they're just playing it very, very passive, making sure he's the one who has to cover the bomb, don't give up any kills, and he's already down to 16 HP. He's got armor, but that Deagle, it's going to have to be some miracle shots, and now he's got a FAMAS as well. But this is a good round from compLexity, and they recover nicely because Warden got very, very aggressive with that M4, and that's dangerous because actually if Follow Esports hadn't committed there, they could have used that M4 to pick some people off, and it actually, with this armor, it looks like Desi's going to be content going into the next round, just saving the FAMAS, maybe dropping his Deagle over to a teammate, and they'll have 2 decent weapons going on.
Not a whole lot of aggression coming out here as well from compLexity. Doesn't really look like they're going to hunt him down. Valen's making a move for it now, but the question is he actually going to be able to spot him in time as Desi slowly creeping up to try and catch these players at this point, but Valens is going to roll out. Not sure if he's going to spot him. He falls back into the pit, and I'm sure he'll get a chance to check it, but can he get the shot in time? And he does. Shut it down, so no save at all for Follow Esports, and he's not going to get the money.
Yeah, which is kicking the balls there at the end, just add insult to injury. So Warden, he's gonna buy up a. They do recover that M4, it looks like on automatic, but Warden buys up an SMG, and Semphis and Valens, they're going to upgrade as well, so they're going to be able to play far back with this rifle against unarmored opponents, and this is good for them, even 4 on 5, getting out of these anti-eco rounds pretty scot-free so far.
And for Follow Esports now, of course, not buying up anything too aggressive. They're just going to go directly for the mid-control here. Semphis will be waiting for it, picking up one potentially, moving into a second one, and they got a monster crossfire here working against this too. Even as Semphis runs out of ammo, we just see that sport coming in there from automatic a little bit higher up, and he shuts down the rest of the players. And that's an easy round being picked up there from compLexity now to set it up to a 3-0 lead.
I think I mean, with this being a man-down situation, the two players who are going to have to do very, very well together, Warden and Semphis playing Catwalk, and in middle, Semphis is going to have a lot of pressure on him in middle, and those two specifically together, managing their rotates from Catwalk back towards mid to support each other through CT spawn, how they communicate and how they work together is going to have a huge impact on this match. And Semphis this round with this op, I mean, this is the thing. If he's able to push out, he can get aggressive and find kills like that. Oh, he gets traded off at the last second. Nice shot from Elsa. But that op can give them some advantages in terms of the player count from that long range if he can just get away and not get traded off like that. But nice recovery from Follow Esports.
And now Ocean's going to try to press forward here, and keep in mind too, with Semphis going down, this is potentially a free gun that goes into the hands of Ocean. If he can reconnect with Wabbit, they can just trade those guns back out, and that's exactly what they're going to do. Now Wabbit has his weapon of choice, and Ocean's got an AK here too, so that sort of makes up for him saving in that previous round, or attempting to save and losing out there, not having the money, which is why he wasn't actually able to get an AK onto the board this round. But now they're all armed up to the teeth. They're going to push their way back into this site. There's Wabbit with a nice up shot, shutting down Valens in the ramp. Warren does get a response though back from within CT, but still, now they've got site control, and they're a man up at this point. And unfortunately for compLexity, not a whole lot of routes to get themselves back into this site. The jump shot coming out there from Warren, he's only going to give away his position. No shots connecting onto Ocean. And at the same time here as well, you've got automatic going for a very big flank, but they've got that covered.
Yeah, I mean, he has to get both of these kills, and it's going to be very difficult. Ocean now fallen. Wabbit has the AWP just posted up, and that's the thing. They trade off Semphis, who has the op, gets some initial pick on Catwalk, and then when they attack Catwalk, it's an easy AWP to recover for Wabbit, especially without a second player there to cover it whatsoever. It's a free salvage, but either way, compLexity are going to go into this next round. They're going to buy up. Valens drops over an AWP to Semphis. Once again, trying to use that long range of the weapon to give them to equalize the player count early on, and Valens is just stuck on a CZ.
And now with no money really to work towards anything here, the rest of compLexity, they're going to try to push forward, try to get into their face at this point, but with that still being a player down, obviously hurting them in a big way. But some nice damage connecting earlier on in the round. Wabbit being dropped out of 43 HP, and Hades taking a little bit of heat there too, down to 90, but definitely not anything to worry about too much. He's going to creep forward, still kind of toying with Valens a little bit here, but I believe Follow Esports just going to sit back, take their time with this one. No reason to rush it, as they know compLexity, with them being a man down, they're going to have to try and find some early kills early in the round to try and get at the very least a 2-for-1 trade so they can get that advantage equalized right from the get-go.
Yep, Valens tries to get right behind the corner of the doors, but he gets dropped by Hades. They do pop flash and check that position. Now Warden, he's going to have to push up Catwalk because he has no one able to watch long. The op's going to be able to rotate over. Semphis does find a pick. That's in middle. There's a crack in the smoke, so Semphis grabs a second one. This is pretty big for compLexity. Now Warden, he's got himself into a nice position behind these boxes. I don't think they know he's there. An automatic picks one up. That gives Warden the opportunity to peek out. This is a clean sweep for compLexity. This long hit isn't working whatsoever for Follow Esports. And they're going to get a round returned upon, and their economy gets completely reset now.
Rabbit doesn't even realize they're just sneaking around, and exactly as you said now, their money's back to square one. compLexity are going to get a free double op setup here, and off of that as well, Warren's still armed with the M4, and, everybody else still going to be armed up here with full rifles too, so compLexity's in a really good spot to hold their advantage at this point, and Follow Esports, they're not really going to be able to do too much this round. They just buy up a Deagles, couple Tech 9s, no armor on anybody as of yet, and as well, no utility behind this either, so expect this to be a pretty easy round for compLexity, and have them leading by 4 points, with them still being down a man.
Now they have the double op set up, which is a little bit risky, I think, in a 4 vs 5. I mean, they've got to do something creative, but in a 4 vs 5, when you're already down a man, it's really, really hard to rotate into position to retake bomb sites. So if something gets given up, these M4s are going to have to do some very, very solid work. Warden's going to be the one who's under pressure initially as Follow Esports making their way towards mid, toward Xbox. Warden spots one out, tosses a nade, but just plays it very, very passively, giving up mid, letting them out if they want to. Automatic, meanwhile, on platform, he finds a first pick, spots another one, but hasn't taken the shot quite yet. But it is down to a 4-on-4.
The rest of Follow Esports, too, kind of playing around with middle, potentially looking to push their way through this. Valens will be the first line of defense to try and stop this as they slowly creep in. No smokes or anything because they don't want to alert their presence, but Ocean also taking a little bit of damage here, but now out pops Valens. He picks up those 2 kills, bombs on the ground, into control of the CTs, and as for the final 2 left here for Follow Esports, not a lot of hope for them to get that back into their control. We're still looking at one of these players, that's Ocean, trying to find his way out and get himself onto the site, but both of them are going to end up getting shut down. Automatic sitting back there, still with the op on platform, gets an easy frag, and has this Warden through the mid doors.
So 4 versus 5. I mean, here's the crazy thing: is if their 5th shows up, I mean, they're salvaging this enough that in a 4 on 5 that they can recover nicely moving forward. And if they keep this up, there's no AWP for Follow Esports, and actually they're pretty light on utility. Only 3 smokes. They've got a good amount of flashbangs, but without these smokes to block things off, these ops can do some damage. So actually, compLexity in a pretty interesting position, despite obviously being a man down automatically every round.
So L's going to try to push his 2 opportunities. Only connects 1, though, and Semphis gets the trade. That should have been 2 easy headshots as they weren't even moving, but he can't find either of them. Or he only gets 1 of them, I should say, but that's going to end up getting traded out. Still leaves compLexity down, man, but still, now they get the intel on this play, too. They know there's going to be that pressure in middle. And Follow Esports also losing that extra man here at the beginning with the limited buy they have even going into this round to begin with. That's going to be very detrimental to them.
Yeah, playing pretty centralized, though. 2 members on Catwalk right now. That leaves mid very wide open, and Automatic knows it. You can see in the B bomb site, he's forced to play close up towards these halls, but coming up Catwalk, Semphis misses the first shot. That allows him to get close. Warden not looking that way. He was checking over towards long, so the defense gets overrun. Now it's a 1-on-4 situation. Automatic, there's not much he can do. He's got to try and save this AWP.
Yep, he's going to sit back in the B site to look to do that once again, but so much time here for Follow Esports. You can even tell they're still starting to branch out here, look for that player already from the get-go. The plant comes out here right now, should be going down, and then I don't even think they're really going to stick around too much to defend it. Probably leave Wabbit there to watch out for a CT push, but beyond that, these guys should be free to just move around, and Desi probably going to be the first player to meet Automatic here inside of the tunnels. Automatic sees this coming, though, so he gets into a position, but at the same time, Desi does not directly push him. He knows he might try to get aggressive here and escape out towards the courtyard, and he doesn't see him sitting behind the pole, so he pops out, finds the kill. And Follow Esports finally going to come ahead now with another round.
Yeah, nice angle by Desi, just knowing he's the B player and just not even pursuing that kill, just kind of locking him in, knowing he's got to fight his way out. So either way, the push was going to come from mid into that B bomb site and shut out that op, but it's going to be another buy out of compLexity, and they go right back to that double op setup. Wabbit's got one on his side. He salvages it from Semphis earlier on in that round, and he's going to go for a mid pick. And both of these ops are going to take him towards mid and B on the defense.
And straightforward here, Hades potentially looking to push his way out to get out towards long, but some good resistance comes in there from compLexity initially, as you've got Valens, and you did have Warden up there too, but he's going to fall back now if there isn't going to be a push. The rest of Follow Esports solidified towards mid. They're going to play around with this a little bit here and see if they can catch anybody else out. Semphis, unfortunately, going to get flashed, so he's going to fall back, and now it gets smoked, so the mid B2B take here is going to be on, and all that pressure shifts to Automatic. Semphis, though, pushes through, finds one. Hades heavily lit, so he might be able to shut him down. Automatic on the site actually still holding his own too, and there's no additional pressure coming in from middle, and Semphis rolls right in, gets a shot basically right in the face of Desi, and Automatic even pushing into the tunnels, gets the final kill too.
What is happening right now? compLexity with these ops, they're winning these rounds, and once again, I mean, they reset the economy. They win. They immediately follow up with a win of their own. Follow Esports survived with so many members in that previous round that they're able to buy up some AK-47s on Desi, Wabbit, and Hades, Tech 9s on Ocean and Elsa, but 6-2 now for the man down team.
And I'm pretty amazed we haven't been seeing as much mid play coming out here from Follow Esports. We'll talk more about this in a second because we're going to go pretty quickly into this. As we can see, Desi already get lit and finished off with a nade from Semphis, so that's another kill. Equalizes things down to a 4-on-4, and Els is going to move in, and he picks up the additional AK, so he's still down in the picture, but as far as this long push is concerned, it's not going anywhere. As Valens even took out another flanker there, Hades is going to get dropped back over in the middle, so they're making no progress. Finally, Wabbit picking up something, but out Automatics here. He's going to miss his shot, so Wabbit grabs his second. They're not done just yet, and now they bring it back into their favor at this point, but Valens going to push in, lighting up all 3 of them, bringing them down low. Has to go for the reload, though, and as they move their way in, the smoke comes out from Wabbit. As you can see, just casually tosses that from within the first one, and now they won't be able to sneak through so potently here, but they're both so low. Wabbit at 1 HP, Els at 4, Valens moves in, finds the first one, can't get the second one as Wabbit's falling back towards long, and he shuts it down as well. What a play from Wabbit, picks up 4 kills, final 2 with just a single health point, and closes it out for Follow Esports.
It would have been nice if anyone on compLexity had an HE grenade, just to clean some of that up. If they were able to prevent that bomb plant in the site, I mean, that would have been huge. But either way, both of those ops for compLexity peek out towards long and lose both their battles. They don't get those kills. So you can see in this 4-on-5, when they have the emphasis on that AWP, if they're not getting the kills with them at long range to give their riflers, alleviate some of the pressure that's going to come up close, they're really going to struggle. So the ops aren't effective that round. They do drop it, and now Follow Esports has a double op setup. And we do have a pause coming out.
Maybe because the final player from compLexity is joining. We could be wrong on that, but also this could just be compLexity trying to figure out what they're going to do because the money is kind of in an odd spot right now. So maybe potentially thinking about, do they just want to buy up here and try to stop them from building up the money to begin with, or do they just want to sit back and save it and let them possibly swing a comeback here? Because we still don't know, by the way, in case anybody's curious as to where that fifth player actually is. We didn't get a really solid reason. As far as we were told, he's just like straight up not here, like he's missing completely. So I don't know if he had a personal obligation or there was an accident. I do, of course, hope he's okay at this point, but just trying to figure out exactly where he is. And there we go. That's what the pause was for. So Sanks is alive and well, and now he's joined the game. So compLexity will be back to the full 5-man strength. And as you mentioned before, still having this lead and being 3 points up, now is obviously going to solidify them even more in this matchup.
Yeah, and that's going to be, I mean, he's got to join the server and be like, holy hell, guys, you're up 6-3 in a 4-on-5. Like, nicely done. So
I'll go back to what I was doing.
Everything is everything can be. I mean, I don't know why he was not here to begin with, but you know, maybe he did like the old Tarek nap. But I mean, everything can be forgiven if you're up 6-3 in a 4-on-5 and you guys end up closing this match out. So interesting to see if they struggle a little bit more in a 5-on-5. That'd be pretty crazy.
Now again, Follow Esports is actually going to play this one out pretty passively, at least in the beginning of this. No aggression over towards long or anything, and the bomb carrier sitting way back right now over here inside of the spawn, watching out to see if anybody's going to push inside of the long doors. A little bit of inching coming out here from Dust2. He's going to try to find his way through towards middle to possibly make a connection there, but at the same time, Sanks, as the smokes come out here, not going to call for a rotate or anything just yet, still sitting nice and passively. As we can see, Follow Esports just trying to bait some attention as the real push is going to be coming out, at least at the beginning of this one, through middle. As that battle starts, Valens takes some heat, but at the end of it, it's not going to end up going down. Is able to fall back, and now him and Automatic are grouped up together here.
Yeah, and Follow Esports, you know, changing their angle, putting some pressure on mid. Now they're going to go up catwalk. There's no defense here, just Valens from the ramp. All he's got is a P250, and he's trying to get to the rail, and he's going to make it. So now the rotations come in. Now they have a pretty good read on where this is coming, but they don't have any rifles to really fight this with. A nice dink on a Desi, but he doesn't fall. Valens is going to clean him up. There's Cephas with the one dig. Another one. Cephas coming up huge. He stopped the attack, and Valens eventually falls on railing, but it is a 2-on-2.
And now Warden's
got the fast flank.
Warden coming up behind, he's going to be able to shut down Ocean. Wabbit, well, in here, all in his lone team. He's got a Tech 9 to work with, but he's stuck behind the boxes. Finds the first one, now needs to close down the Warden. Can't do it, and Warden gets the headshot. Warden Semphis with the Deagles closes it out for compLexity, and they get themselves right back on this saddle here, losing that one round. That's going to absolutely destroy Follow Esports and their money. And for compLexity, they're now going to lead 7-3 with a huge advantage, and this is only the first round where they've got that fifth player back in play.
Yeah, I mean, this is Follow Esports. The big issue they have is they're not able to string 2 rounds together. They do get a plan here, and they're going to force by. At least Desi picks up that AK-47 very, very quickly. The rest of his teammates, you know, they can get some Galils, or they're going to have to go for Tech 9s just so they can get smokes and Molotovs and flashes. But you know, compLexity now with these Deagles. Cephas is having himself one hell of a game. Him and Automatic both have 12 kills. Automatic 12-5, Cephas 12-6. So even with the Deagles, they don't have the AWP in their hands, but they're still doing work.
Ocean getting ready to push forward at this point, and as is Warden now moving into there, as we can wait and see exactly what Follow Esports are going to do. Much more shifting over here towards that usual sort of play towards the middle, and then either moving it into the tunnels, going for a mid-booty split, or up to Cat there at this point. They've kind of gone back to this and have moved away from direct takes as far as these blast kill rounds is concerned. As now they've got to play it a lot more cautiously without having that additional man advantage, which, to be honest, didn't really help them that much to begin with when you're looking at the score.
Yeah, now we can just see a much more normalized defense out of compLexity. The 3 members over towards A, they have a bait set up with Automatic over in Goose, the op with Semphis, but they're out mid. Warden spots him, and he's going to be able to try and get some shots off. Doesn't land anything, no kills. He flashes himself over. He's going to peek out. He does grab one. One's coming in through the window. Maybe inside the bomb site. Got to be careful, and he is, but Warden cleans that up as well. So Sex and Warden hold down this B bomb site very strong, and a couple stragglers coming in mid delayed, and now Warden hears the footsteps. He knows it's coming. And Desi's going to get that first entry with the AK-47, but it's not enough because Warden is still just going beast mode right now.
Automatic going to be able to shut that final kill down there as Hades was not able to get into the site quickly enough, and they had to defend that anyway. So a great hold there coming out from compLexity. Very clean, too, as they keep 4 alive, so that's going to help them rebuild their own economy at this point and stack it up a little bit more here. As for Follow Esports, going for the force buy previously, they're going to be broken once again here, and this is probably just going to be an outright full save, maybe a P250 or 2, but beyond that, not really expecting anything else to come out from these guys, and more than likely a 9th point under the board from compLexity. Definitely not the Follow Esports we saw yesterday, unfortunately, in their match versus this team on Cash, but I don't know, maybe they can recover on that CT side, but overall here, needing to pick up at least a couple more rounds to even put up a fight there. Otherwise, compLexity will have too big of an advantage to make a comeback from that second half to even start it.
Yeah, Valens is going to be under a lot of pressure. They're streaming out long. He's the only one here. His teammates, a nice pop flash is going to blind him, but Not all of them. Desi does grab that kill. It's a free kill. No ability to respond. Warden's going to boost up this Hopper inside the bomb site. Look at compLexity. They've already circled around long A. They have the bomb down. Now they have him stuck in cave. Dink goes out onto Sanks, but he does grab 2, and there's automatic to clean things up. One more kill. He pulls out a nade, though. Poor timing on that nade switch, and he gets executed.
And now the players from Follow Esports, they're going to make a run for this B site here, just going to wrap all the way around. The question is, how fast is it going to take compLexity to catch on? The Semphis knows down, so he's going to go for the rotate. Just being mindful in case it does end up going to cap, but slows it down in middle here too. So players from Follow Esports should be able to get onto that site. They got a hold working that too, and still smoke in the arsenal, but you look at compLexity, they've also got a lot of utility, so they don't have any reason to be worried. Both players still armed with kits here too. So even if this plant does come out, they still should have a pretty big advantage in regards to making this retake happen.
Yeah, but Semphis has to be wary. He has to respect the fact they can be mid, so he couldn't push all the way across and beat him to that B bomb site. Warden's going to have a quick flank in tunnels, though, and actually they dropped the bomb just so Desi can get back into the tunnels, but he's going to lose that battle. No, there's really not a great chance to get this bomb planted. Warden's already out peering into the bomb site. Semphis still taking it slow. He knows that they're in one-on-one position, so he doesn't want to give up any kind of kill.
And Hades going to move out here, looking for that kill over on the Warden, being very loud with it. And again, Semphis, as you mentioned before, playing it very far back too. So he thinks he's safe. Now he's forced to plan, and even so, with all that noise he's making, Warden's able to tell exactly where he's at. So he pops right out of the tunnel, shuts him down, and there's another good security run coming out there from compLexity. And they will lead it by a pretty big margin here. Follow Esports, good attempt at an eco round, but unfortunately not even able to escape with the plant. So not exactly what they have. And now coming into this round, utility-wise, they're going to be looking a little bit more weak comparatively to the full buy they could have had if they probably got that plant down.
Look at the Dean. Coach Warden. He's sitting at top of this team. 14-4 right now. Automatics at 14-6. Semphis still at 12 kills. Pretty impressive stuff out of Warden. He's been very active in the 10-manning in the professional scene in North America. He's also been streaming a bunch lately, so he's been hitting the DMs. And he's putting together a really strong match so far.
Now taking a look at this round from Follow Esports in terms of their offensive. Working their way together now. Trying to see if they can find a way to piece themselves and get themselves back into this match at this point, but like I already talked about, without really having a big supply of mollies or anything like that, they're not really going to have too good of a job of forcing these players out of positions that they want to look for opening picks. They've got enough smokes to work a take, but a lot of them, or some of them I should say, have already been used, and now they're just down to 2 of them left here trying to work for this entry at this point, and it's going to get a little bit messy here. Keep in mind too that there's a big emphasis on trying to push through these long doors, but Warden is still there sitting in the corner, and they're going to have to eliminate him, and as you had already mentioned, he's been very consistent and very good at taking these duels to begin with, so it's going to be rough to get their way out. However, Ocean finds the opening shot, and a perfect flash was on a Warden too, so 2 players are going to get executed right off the bat. Valen's though pushing right at him, waiting for the pop to come out, can't connect the kill, but now we're going to see Wabba gets out there, and he picks up the shot, going to shut down Valen's, working their way onto the site here. Now the final 2 left from compLexity, not a whole lot left they can do to get back onto the site and stop it. The smoke comes in, there's a little bit of a gap through it, and they toss the smoke, or they toss the bomb, I should say, but it doesn't actually go far enough. I think they can still sneak up on it and grab it, and Semphis is going to look away anyway. So there they go, they pick that up. Ocean also is going to grab Sanks as he tries to rotate over there, so it's just Semphis. He's kind of trapped at this point, so nowhere for him to run, and this will be another round for Follow Esports.
Yeah, that position that Warden was playing in behind those doors at long, Valens was playing that exact position earlier in the half, and he gets pop flash and blinded and eliminated. So Warden does the same exact thing, and it's the same flash. So nice job by Follow Esports clearing out that corner pretty consistently. Semphis does grab 1 exit kill, but this is going to be a round for Follow Esports, and it looks like they're on the hunt. So he's got a lot of time left to try and save this weapon, and he's going to start having Desi pressure him. Although Desi's slowed things down, it's not too aggressive. They don't have a huge economy, so they don't want to lose too many weapons going forward.
Desi's slowly going to creep into that. Semphis, as we already talked about before, is in a very secure position. It doesn't look like anybody's going to be able to grab him in time, so he's good. He's going to make it out of that with that up. A couple other players actually in pretty good positions too to go for rifle buy-ups, so it looks like that's exactly what we're going to have. We're going to have those about 3, potentially 4, actually going to make a win with all 5 rifles getting bought out there for those guys, so they're still looking pretty good with a fairly competent buy here going into this round.
Warden just stuck on a FAMAS with no utility whatsoever, so the economy for compLexity is finally at a critical point where it's falling low. They do throw some flashes out towards long, just to posture as if it's going to be some kind of a hit, but it's very, very spread out. This has given Hades a lot of room to work with. A nice pick from Desi through the smoke onto Warden. Hades aggressive on catwalk, spots one rotating down onto the ramp, but automatic. He doesn't care. He just continues on forward. And he's got to move over towards this B bomb site to try and help. This is a fake mid-B smoke coming out, so automatic. He's got to make that call. He's got to get the intel. He jumps up on the boxes. He's going to find it, but 3 members inside these B tunnels. Looks like they're going to pressure the B bomb site any second now.
Yeah, and they still don't really have a good idea as to which side exactly this is going to. The mid to B isn't going to end up being a fake, but this could still be the raw push of their tunnels that it's going to be, or it could be a move to get themselves out to long, or even Cat work and A-Tick there too. Follow eSports, splitting their players up, and again, if these two end up not finding the opening picks they need to try and sell this fake, it can go very bad very quickly. And even so, you take a look, we've already got Automatic falling back to the B site, and the rest of Follow eSports, they don't seem to want to go for this push onto that B site. They're not going to descend it, they fall back, and it's going to be a Cat take instead now as they try to push up towards this one. But Semphis moves over towards long, thinking it's going to come from there. He has to pull away, and now these players are going to get partially into the site before Semphis gets in position, but they're playing it too slowly, and this has been a problem throughout this entire half now. Follow eSports, they throw all these utility out, but they take so long to execute. Thankfully, Semphis misses his opening shot. Valens is going to hold, however, back over on long, but that's the only kill he gets, and Hades is taking down Semphis, so they roll in. As well, this plant's going to come out right now as well, and there's just not a whole lot left for compLexity, at least at this time being, to get themselves back in.
Yeah, they've got to wait for this smoke to clear on CT spawn ramp, and all of Follow eSports is basically evacuated towards Catwalk, so Valens is going to have a lot of work to do, and he's not being aggressive up long A. They're going to molly off Catwalk to try and give himself some room to work with, but the post-plant positioning for Follow eSports is really, really nice. They don't have a smoke to block off Catwalk. Molly one player out of the boxes, so this should be a pretty free kill once he starts moving out. And there's, yep, he burns alive. He does manage to get one, but still two more on Catwalk. Flashbang is going to come out. It actually blinds Automatic, who's got to cover him. He body blocks, but they move nicely, and that was still a little bit too close for comfort. Only Hades surviving in a 4-on-3 retake, but still a 5th round for Follow eSports.
And they're bringing themselves back into this now as we head into the final round. Breaking, as you mentioned before, the complexity economy was at a very critical point in the last round. Now it's going to be broken here at this point, and they just have to scrub through with whatever they can make. Ward on a Mag 7 with no armor assisting him. The rest of the players pretty much on armor pistols. Valence, at the very least, is able to get a scout in this play, but for the rest of these guys, there's not a whole lot being added into this, and they're going to have to hope that they can find some opening kills to get an advantage very early on as they're working against pretty much a full buy here from Follow eSports as they've got everything. And already there's Wabbit with an opening shot. It's going to shut down Semphis, and the take is on.
Yeah, and I mean, these past couple of rounds for Follow eSports, they've been able to find some picks. So essentially, even with 5 players on the server, compLexity's played these last 2 in a 5-on-4. Valens with a scout, he's in pit, so he's going to have to go for some jumping scouts. But either way, if he doesn't land some miraculous shots, I mean, he's not in a position to mow down any multitude of players. And now compLexity's just forced to get overly aggressive. Warden does fight too with the Mag 7. Beautiful play. He's going to be able to salvage an AK-47. That's the bomb as well, so a little bit of an opportunity for compLexity to get back into this round. It's a 2-on-3, but Warden's got a man down the fort. He gets taken out by Desi, who's just hiding at CT spawn, waiting for that play to come. And Valens hasn't had any action come his way towards long.
And Valens, as we talked about before, now going to be the last player left alive. Desi already going hot this round, up to 3 kills, and Follow eSports basically have their pick of the litter in terms of where they want to go. They are going to take it directly into the face of Valens, so we won't see much else happening this round. Hades is going to end up shutting it down for his team. And Follow eSports, very rough start, of course, with the 4 versus 5 being a factor. But obviously, interestingly enough, it's in their favor, but it doesn't work out that way at all. And with that said, compLexity get a nice about 6-3 or 2 lead there before they finally get themselves up to full 5-man. They bring it up to 9 points, and Follow eSports bring it back a little bit there towards the end of the half, but still a nice lead to start things off here for compLexity, especially considering they started off with 4 players.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, right? Because Follow eSports had a great opportunity to just run the score up when they had that 5-on-4. They're not able to do it, so that's kind of where that half was just completely lost. But the big issue, too, is they just kept getting reset in that 5-on-4. They'd win a round and then lose the following one completely, so...
And in terms of the actual strategy, one of the big problems I saw from the T side on these guys was when they line up for takes and whatnot, we saw a couple times where it worked out great for them, like with Semphis missing the shots and whatnot, but, you know, assuming everybody was on point from the defense, I think that Follow eSports was just playing the takes a little bit too slowly. They would take their time in setting things up, and that would give the players on compLexity so much alert, so they could get in positions, they could try to counter that out, and unfortunately, they would always be there and rotate in time in order to stop most of those takes, which is why we saw so many rounds, again, gun rounds it is, going by the way of compLexity. But we go into the pistol here, and it started off Wabbit right in the face of some of these guys. Only's going to find one, but now Els through the mid doors there is going to be able to take down an additional one. Ocean is assisting with this one too. He's going to take down Warden, and just like that, it's in a 4-on-2. Still a player on the site is going to be Hades. He pushes some of these back. Automatic's trying to wrap over to get some long dynamic in here, and hopefully try to bring Hades back down. He's going to douche and bring it down to 14 HP. But as we can see, he has to pop back out, and there's a flank coming in here too onto that final player. Gets some damage on Automatic, but I think Hades, and no, Desi saves his life. Looks like he might be able to make it out of this after all. Just got to handle Automatic. Unfortunately, he's going to get a little bit too aggressive, so Automatic is going to be able to shut him down. But now he's the last player left alive, and obviously not going to directly challenge that straight up.
Yeah, really not too much of an opportunity to get back into this. Follow eSports has swarmed around the bomb, and actually Ocean's going to be the first one to be able to make contact, just holding an angle on Catwalk. And he spots about, he's going to smoke off Catwalk, so this is just going to delay things a little bit longer. Automatic might be forced to run through this, or at least try to. And he actually tries to spam through the smoke, but Ocean responds perfectly with a nice tap onto his head. So that's going to be the second pistol round for Follow Esports, or the second half pistol round going their way. 7-9 now, and they've recovered from a pretty rough first half.
Now the big question is about that consistency, as we already talked about here, and very interesting from compLexity, going for 2 scouts on an Automatic and Semphis here, Tech9s and a CZ on the Valens and the rest of the squad, but we'll see what kind of work they can do with this one, trying to catch these players off right from the get-go and hopefully shut them down. And as I said before, probably not going to be expecting too many surprises to come out from these eco rounds over here on compLexity's end, but once the guns get in their hands, if Follow Esports cannot piece together more rounds over here on the CT side, then they're just going to fall apart very, very quickly once again. But in terms of the take, most of their players now for compLexity in the tunnels, looking to transition that up possibly over towards middle. So lining up right now for a mid to B split, maybe, if not just a direct push through the tunnels.
Yeah, they're just going to try and swarm this, but they have 2 scouts, so they almost have to let these guys try and get a pick, but it doesn't matter. Warden just comes through. He gets that first kill, and he gets a second one. Warden coming up huge. 2 entries with the Tech-9, and now Elsa's got to do something huge from doors, but he gets dinked immediately by Warden, and Semphis drops him through the door, and this is all, I mean, this round's already won by compLexity. Beautifully done by Warden. Top fragging for his team, coming in as the coach at 18-8.
And Hades is now banging his head against the wall when pit in shame.
Yeah, like, that's incredible. Nicely done from Warden, and Follow Esports just gets smacked in the mouth. And now it's looking scary once again, and that's the thing. Even with that smoke off, it was going to be tough. With 2 scouts, it's kind of sometimes hard to find those entries. You got to let them work when you have that investment into some sniper rifles, but Warden just goes nuts.
So, unfortunately for Follow Esports, the consistency will continue to be a problem for them here, and we talked about the trades, them not being able to string together 2 rounds, and, well, that's going to be a problem even with a pistol round victory here, so they're going to drop this one, immediately compLexity restore the 3-round lead that they had at the beginning of this half, and now they're going to absolutely destroy the economy over here from Follow Esports too. Obviously, the 2 saves are going to help them out a little bit here, as they're going to have that at the very least, but not a lot of utility up behind that. And for the rest of these guys, they're going to be looking at like 5-7s at the most with armor, and that's going to be exactly it. They just buy themselves out here in hopes that they can maybe get lucky and stop this offensive now for compLexity. But so many free guns going into their hands, it's definitely not going to be looking good now, as obviously they can just roll right into one of these sites, and the defense is going to be weak pretty much anywhere they go.
Yeah, and Warden, he's just feeling it right now. He's getting very aggressive in B tunnels, trying to pick one off. They both swing on him. He's not able to land those shots with the FAMAS, but he's dealt significant damage, hasn't taken too much in return. And look at the rotations this forces. Elsa's moved over towards mid. Wabbit's going to come up towards Catwalk, and Hades is going to follow him. So they give up their presence over at Long A, and compLexity doesn't have anyone there to take advantage of it. This is a very, very centralized defense towards mid and the B bomb site.
Hell's getting some nice damage over there on the Warden over there by mid around the corner. He himself takes a little bit of it too, as he's both dropped down to 38, Warden down to 37, so I guess he wins that trade, but only by 1 HP. And now for the rest of these guys, taking control of middle, still potentially lining up to move in from there, and that's exactly what's going to happen now. Semphis pushes through, tries to get a little bit of aggression to see if he can catch anybody here that would come to defend those mid doors, but it won't be happening, and the rest are going to work their way up on a cap. But Wabbit's waiting for him here, sitting around the corner. He was one of the players that was able to save a rifle, and that flash is perfect, but he can't find anybody. They're all going to go away now, and we just see Semphis shutting him down, so they've got a freeway onto this site. Still going to have to try and take down Hades. He's going to pick up the first one, but Amali's going to force him back onto the ramp here, and that pushes him off site, but still no commitment from compLexity yet, as they as well got mollied off.
Oh, Desi gets a free kill. Warden doesn't clear his corners, just comes rushing out mid. And now everyone on compLexity is split up. Automatic's got to be able to hold this B bomb site so the bomb can get in here. He's going to be pressured. 2 members just running right through the smoke. That's Desi. Gets the first kill. Now it's down to a 2-on-3 so quickly. Semphis does grab one, lurking out mid, but 15 seconds left, and the bomb, there's no time to go anywhere. This is going to be basically a round. Semphis has just got to get hyper-aggressive, try and find those kills. Desi playing with the edge of the smoke. He grabs one. There should be 0 chance to win this round. Elsa, all he has to do is hide. Doesn't have to peek whatsoever. And actually, Sanks doesn't know where he is, and Elsa does get that kill right at the end. No bonus money for Sanks either, so Follow Esports stalls out the attack for compLexity just long enough.
And Els, as he said, just sits back behind cover. He even goes for the shot there, too, to try and just win out the round, absolutely, but thankfully gets himself right behind the cover before we can see the response coming in there. Cole not catching on to that quickly enough, and now Follow Esports strike rate back here. The force buy ends up working out for them in a very aggressive CT play, just completely splitting compLexity up, forcing them back, and now they're back on the saddle here as far as the scoreline is concerned, keeping it close to 2 rounds up for compLexity at this point, and that's really going to shatter compLexity now when you take a look at them. Saved a lot of money previously, but they're not going to want to take a risk on a force-up, so they just go for upgraded pistols this time, in hopes of maybe getting lucky with this one.
Yep, Wabbit spots him coming out on Catwalk, but they haven't committed quite yet. And they're just going to fall away. trying to find something with those deagles. There's only 2 flashbangs on Valence. Other than that, there's no really utility on complexity, and this is going to be tough. Automatic with the deagles, got to find this headshot. Can't land it quite yet. Takes so much damage. Has got to fall away from the fight. Maybe try and trade that deagle over to see if someone else can get a little bit fortunate with the 1 deag from that range. But all of complexity now grouping up into these upper B tunnels, and all that's really left for them to do, because they have no more map control, is just to hit this B bomb site, and Desi might oblige him. This is the gamble play that Desi likes to make. He's going to push up. He finds automatic. That's the low HP player, and he gets away. So he gets that first kill. Now he has the intel, and Ocean's there to mop things up behind him.
We do see, though, that Sanks is going to push in. That shuts down Ocean at the very least, but still so much damage has been done, and Destiny's going to catch one. Valence wasn't able to push in. He does end up taking it down, but Els is still getting his way into the doors. Coverage for the rest of the kills. Some good damage comes out from complexity, but at the end of the day, only 2 kills. Not going to be that impactful onto the CT side economy, and Follow Esports will come out ahead once again.
But here's the first buy round out of complexity. They have their AK-47s across the board, all 5. They do also have 5 smokes, so they can run basically anything they want. They're a little bit light on flashbangs, but now they have the arsenal to really battle against these rifles. No AWPs out on the field, which is kind of big, because we saw how much of an emphasis it was in the first half. But this defense is going to set up nicely. 3 members out towards long. Elsa is going to be able to cheat towards mid if he chooses to. He's going to smoke off Catwalk, though, and he's going to stay at the bomb site. And all of complexity just coming out mid. Automatic gets a first pick over towards long. That's going to force Ocean to move out of the B bomb site. He's in the open. He gets 1, but he's traded off immediately. So all on Desi, who's going to pop flash himself out, and he can't get that kill. Valence eliminates him, and now the B bomb site is open for the taking.
Last player alive here from Follow Esports at this point. Els stuck way over here in CT spawn. They just re-smoked his angle. It's not going to be the best smoke, so he could probably push through this, but they already know where he is. He's been tossing nades out, so they know exactly where he's at. No illusion that he could be moving in through tunnels or flanking them at this point. There's still the potentiality for him to do exactly what he's doing right now, which is moving over towards tunnels, but if somebody just peeks window, they're going to be able to see this. So Els knows the odds are so low at this point, so he's just going to fall back and save the rifle.
Yeah, no option to him, and that's just complexity being very aggressive, just committing out mid very early on, and they catch the defense, not prepared for that. So Els has got to try and save this. He's going to be in T-spawn, but he gives up his position. Now they know he's in T-spawn, so Warden's just going to be on the chase, and they're actually going to cut him off. He's up here on this platform, and right outside the B tunnels, he jumps down, and he's going to win that battle. He's down to 9 HP. I don't think Warden can get there fast enough, and he can't, so he's going to be able to save that AK. That's a little bit of a saving grace in the round, but still, Follow Esports, they're on the ropes because their economy has been extremely depleted. They can maybe force buy if they choose to, but at 9 to 11, still some time for him to get back into it.
And complexity indeed now trying to get themselves, and now with another round being picked up here and them still keeping the lead alive, Follow Esports is unfortunately just going to be broken at this point once again. They're back down on pretty much the default pistols with a couple upgrades coming in here or there, P250s as well, and a Wabbit and Desi. Not a whole lot else they can do to try and hold this though, so complexity should pretty much be pretty much free to walk into wherever they want, but there's going to be Valence. He picks up the first one. We can see the Follow Esports players, they are going to get in their face a little bit there, and that allows Desi to grab a nice headshot. He's going to be able to shut down Valence off of the hands of this one. Ocean, though, tries to play sneaky in the smoke, but automatic catches him really quickly, and Sanks as well going to take out one of these other flankers there. It's going to be Desi that gets shut down. Els with that rifle, not going to be able to do anything. And Wabbit, the final player, holds his ground for the time being. It's a nice mid-air headshot on Semp as he tries to go in and kill him Batman style, but that's not going to happen. But once again, the same situation as that previous round with Els, where he's just stuck in CT and they know exactly where he is, so they're probably going to push him to make him drop this rifle. There he goes, but he still holds it as he shuts down automatic. Now Warden sees him, though, but he can't execute him, and Wabbit takes down Warden. Now he's potentially got a chance at this, but unfortunately with no kit, and there's just been so much time elapsed, it's not going to be possible.
That's actually huge that Wabbit gets those kills. A little bit of an overcommittal from complexity to just jump through the smoke like that. They lose a couple members, and their economy isn't strong. It's not like they can afford to give up these guns like that, so Sanks just has to play it passively. Doesn't want to lose that. He's more than likely going to have to drop a gun. Warden's down on 50 bucks. Valence is at 400. They're going to both need drops, so nice round from Wabbit, but still, either way, the score is starting to spread out just a little bit. 12 to 9. Follow Esports has got to make a stand here.
This is definitely going to be a contention point here, as complexity potentially now going to be running away with this, getting themselves into too secure of a position. They went out this one here, especially with Follow Esports going for the buy now, and again, they're going to be somewhat limited in terms of what they bring into it, with the exception of Hades and Els there. Those two are looking good, but the others not really able to bring all that much. 5 smokes, that's going to be good at least, but beyond that, flashes and whatnot, they're going to be very, very limited in that regard. So this needs to be one congealed push to one of these sites, or overall a very, very competent post-plant situation that comes in with some good entries to start it here. Otherwise, Follow Esports, they're going to be missing too much, and complexity will have a very apologies for Follow Esports, or for complexity here. No, sorry, for Follow Esports, they're going to have a really hard time retaking this site.
Yeah, Automatic throws a little bit of a mid-B fake, eats a nade for his troubles, but he's still out. He's forced a rotation from Elsa, and actually there's a couple complexity players who have made progress, gotten control of Catwalk. Valens is going to sneak out. He's going to try and find one over towards railing. He's got to be careful. Wabbit's just holding an angle, but he misses the initial shot. A little bit of a duel, and a dink comes out, and Elsa finally finishes off Valens, and there's Wabbit with a secondary nice headshot. The bomb is down, but things have traded evenly, 3-3, and now Wabbit is stuck in the bomb site.
Semphis looking for some shots here too, and keep in mind that bomb has gone down, but there's going to be Warden opening up another avenue here. He picks up a headshot on the Wabbit. Semphis misses an opportunity to shut down one of these players towards middle, and Desi actually getting a little bit spooked by that. He falls back, and him and Ocean are going to tag team back over here by CT spawn. They pick up 2 more kills, and that's going to drop Semphis now, so it's just Warden alive. Thankfully, he's been given the room to run in and pick up this bomb, but he's stuck on his lonesome at this point. And has to go for a flash and hope he can get this plant safely, and try to plant it way out in the open too, potentially to allow him to go back over towards a better hiding spot, but unfortunately, with this flank coming in here in a second from Desi, unless he turns to check this, there you have it. Desi's going to shut him down, and there's still plenty of time left for that defuse.
Yeah, complexity is getting really sloppy in these mid rounds. That's a couple times now where, even in 3-on-3s, they're spread out, and, Semphis is on Catwalk, and then he drops down into CT spawn to go for some kind of a Rambo play, and just gets deleted. He doesn't even clear CT spawn, so Desi's there for a free kill, and they actually kind of gave that one up. They had the bomb down on Catwalk, they had the site taken, but from there, it's just all individual plays, and they lose all the battles. So that's going to force them onto a save, and now that puts Follow Esports right back into this. So complexity on the verge of really losing their advantage by some questionable mid-round decisions.
And now, complexity, they're going to be dropped down once again here after those troubles spot up in an attempt to push through suicide there. Wabbit immediately is going to punish that one, and already here a player goes down on a Valens. The rest of complexity now just going to push through. The plan is already set, so might as well go for it here. Automatic through the mid doors, pushing in. No smokes around to CT as of yet, so this is going to be very rough if they can decide to continue pushing through with this. And Hades back down below the staircase on Cat too, shutting down an additional kill. Finally, something is gained from Complexity's. Automatic picks up a kill, but they've got a smoke here, and no bomb control being gained here by the Complexity members at this point. Els gets caught off guard, so Automatic's going to be able to take him down. Now they've got bomb control back, but it's just Automatic with a single rifle and a single flash, so Wabbit's there up on the site with the op, takes him out nice and easily, and Follow Esports once again just one round away from closing the gap.
Yeah, still no. I mean, this op that Semphis had in the first half that was so damaging, we saw it come out last round, but not a whole lot comes from it, and this round they're not going to be able to have one either. So not able to grab those sniper rifles. Now Wabbit has a huge advantage. He can just go nuts with his own AWP from long range. Follow Esports knocking on the door now. And once again, complexity, a lot of emphasis. They haven't really touched along too much outside of one player here and there lurking, doing some kind of delayed solo take, but there's been a huge emphasis on complexity taking these halls controls and working towards mid.
Ocean sitting back over there on the doors, and the same story for Automatic now too. Just trying to find a way to get himself back over there onto the B site as the rest of the team, they solidify, as you said before, working to take control of middle, maybe pushing through this one. What happened in Hades as well, pushing the angle over here by the long doors, and Warden will be there to challenge this one if they do decide to push through with this. But for the rest of the team now, Follow Esports still with no clue, still playing it nice and passive. Same story on Complexity too, as they sit back. They're just going to wait for they're going to wait for possibly a mistake to come out here from Follow Esports, just playing picks, taking it nice and slow, running the clock down a little bit. And now their initial smokes come back out over here towards the cat area, over there towards the A site. Won't execute upon that just as of yet, as most of their players are going to back up into the tunnels now to just go for a straightforward rush take through the tunnels onto the B site.
Yeah, no pressure put on from complexity, no real appearance off the map. They're just waiting for any kind of aggression. Now they're going to walk over towards this B bomb site, try and grab a kill here, but Desi's going to Molotov off as that smoke clears, and that splits him. Automatic comes through, and the rest of his teammates hold back. He's got an advantage, but Ocean drops him from closet. No ability to trade, and there's Desi in the back. He does grab one before he falls. Now they've got to get this kill quickly. The rotations come in, though. There's two from Semphis. Ocean's still alive, though, just trying to spray him down. Sanks trades him off. 2-on-2 situation now in this B bomb site.
They're going to be able to get through, but just barely, as we can see. Sanks down to 10 HP, going for that plant right now. Wabbit potentially already going to push through the doors. He's got a flash to make his way into here, and there's Hades as well, coming in from the tunnels. They weren't even expecting them there. Warden caught completely off guard, but that one, they shut him down. Sanks is blind as a bat now as he moves back in here, but almost grabs the kill, and unfortunately is going to light them both up. Doesn't get either of the kills, though, as both of the remaining Follow Esports members, they're going to survive. Plenty of time left for this defuse, so Wabbit, along with Hades, keep it out at the end, and now they're going to tie the game up here at 12 points.
Yeah, that flank from Hades came in so quickly because he was pushed up towards long that complexity wasn't prepared for it. Ocean and that B defense, Ocean and Desi delay him just for long enough. That rotation comes in to stall him out in tunnels one more time, but just buys those few seconds for Hades to get in quickly and catch him off guard. So now complexity, they're into a situation where they buy up. They have 3 AK-47s, 2 Tech 9s. They have some decent utility, some nades behind it as well, but once again, heavy towards the B bomb site. All 5 members heading that way.
And they're going to rush here, too. A fast cap maneuver that's coming out from Follow eSports. Won't catch anything, but keep in mind, too, that compLexity tried to play this a little bit slower last time, and they actually went down towards the lower tunnels, but it doesn't look like they're going to be doing it this time. Just a direct take in. Those rotations have to be swift, but however they catch it. But Valence picks up the first one. Osha responds to 2 more reward and also gets the trade, so it's an even 2 for 2. They find it about so they can move in quickly, and there's Hades now. He's going to grab a shot in the Warden as he tries to find his way further past the door area. Not going to happen. This Molly bounces out, so that's going to restrict access to the window for the time being. Not really, but still holds them back for a little bit longer. They're just waiting for these players on Follow eSports to get in a position, and there's Wabbit as well. Catches some over aggression there from Automatic, and he picks up the final kill on his Sanks. A shutdown from Follow eSports, and now they're going to take the lead.
Yeah, this is just Wabbit having a huge advantage. No one really contesting him with an op, and that's 2 rounds now. Very, very fast flank comes in for Follow eSports once that B hit comes in. I mean, they only get 2 kills on the defense in that B site, but because of that aggression off Catwalk that you mentioned, Wabbit gets behind him very, very quickly and just grabs an angle in those 2 kills. So nicely done from him, and we did have a Follow eSports player drop, so that's why we're seeing this pause come out. But either way, Follow eSports, for the first time in this matchup, they have the lead.
My big question, though, is can they hold on to it? Because this is looking a lot like the match from yesterday when they played on Cash, where it's just a little bit reversed, of course. Now the compLexity, they start themselves off well. They go in a very big advantage here, but now it's kind of getting tossed away, and Follow eSports are really able to piece their defense together now to get themselves back into this match. They're on a 4-round streak, but a little bit close here. As you can see, 3 to 4 of the last ones have come down to defuses, but keeping themselves pretty consistent with it, like about 2 to 3 players alive, but now that 5th player gets back in. And this will be a big round here, of course, because you look at the money from compLexity. They're just about to get on that full losing bonus, so if they get the plant, they can still buy through with this one, but potentially looking at another basically 4th round or an eco round after this one if Follow eSports can come out on top once again, and that would potentially put them on a 15 points.
Still no op in the hands of compLexity. This time they switch things up. Not too many players streaming. Actually, they're going to rush up Catwalk. There's 2 members here. It's a little bit of a boost. This could be scary. Flashbang holds Cephas back for just a second. And he's going to pee around this corner, but they blow up the stack just in time. They fall back away from it. Wabbit's got the angle now with the AWP. And compLexity, they've got to be careful. They're smoked off Catwalk now. The defense in the A bomb site is going to readjust. They're going to push out towards the long, but Warden just comes right through the smoke. Takes out Wabbit. That's a huge find, and the trades go their way. So now the entry happens. Hades has got to hold long against 2 players, but he just falls. Massive aggression through the smoke on Catwalk, and Follow eSports not prepared to hold on to it.
Cole with nowhere to go, or Cole with all the where to go, and Follow eSports having no way to get themselves back into the site efficiently here. There's going to be the flash that comes in. They're going to maybe look to retake Cat, as it still looks like they're going to go for this, but Automatic is there. He's directly challenging this, moves back into the corner just to keep it safe, but another pop flash comes through, and they're not actually going to press forward with it anymore, just to allow them to escape through the tunnels here in case we did see Automatic pressing forward. So these 2 are going to move back, and we'll look to save those rifles, as their economy as well was not really in a safe spot as yet. They're actually 2 of the lowest players on this team. The rest are still in a good spot to where at the very least they can make it through with the FAMAS buys, so if these 2 end up surviving, they'll still be in a pretty good position heading into the next round.
Yeah, unfortunate. Follow eSports played that pretty well up until the point where they just kind of, you thought that smoke was going to be a brick wall that compLexity wouldn't come through, and they got to realize they're playing against Warden. He doesn't care about that kind of stuff. He loves running through smoke, so he catches him off guard. And that's crazy. We've been seeing Warden just for the squad, Stan again, he's their coach, but he's been doing some great job entry fragging. You think back to that eco round earlier in this half where he gets 2 entries with a Tech 9 onto the B bomb site, and he's just playing lights out right now.
And this will tie things back up once again here. Very, very close matchup, just like we had last evening. And for everybody here, everybody going for the big buy-ups, and Follow eSports going to take a big risk on this one. They know that what this round could potentially mean for themselves, so they go for the double-up buy-up. Hades and Wabbit picking up those 2. Hades, again, was the primary opera before Wabbit joined the roster, then the role switched to him, so we'll see what can happen. Wabbit just barely missing that shot over there onto Automatic. At the same time here, too, the rest of the players are going to rush through the mid doors. Wabbit misses a second shot now. He's going to fall back, but he can't get behind cover quickly enough, so Zephys is going to take him down. He picks up a second before finally getting traded out by Hades, so they're going to be up a man as they roll in, and Desi's going to hold within this site just all on his own, so he finds one. Automatic there to trade it down, but Hades still armed with the op moves and shuts down Valence, cuts one of them down before they secure this site, and that'll leave it into a 2-on-2 once again.
Yeah, this op on Hades, though, he might want to trade it out for an AK-47, which he does. He just picks one up, and it looks like they're going to split up. Hades is going to come into B tunnels where he had success on the flank, but there's a lot of time now for compLexity to set up and be prepared for this, and actually there's one in there. It's Automatic with the AWP. He spots Hades. He knows he's close, but he can't recover in time. Sanks trades him off, but now Elsa knows exactly where he is, and he's going to win that battle. So close for compLexity, but Hades with some crucial kills with that AWP equalizes and comes in for the retake. So Follow eSports, they keep the lead at 14-13. And Elsa is even going to be able to salvage the AWP that Hades traded out earlier on.
Follow eSports hanging on by a thread there, but they do manage to make it happen as Els rushes right into the face of that final player from compLexity, shuts him down, wasn't able to react quickly enough to that after picking up the additional kill, so they're going to end up coming out on top barely, and now they mount the lead here. Only one more round away from at the very least securing overtime once again, but compLexity is well back onto a position where they can force buy it up. Unfortunately, not all 5 will be armed with rifles. You're still going to be looking at Warren with a Tech 9. Semphis still has that up too, and that's again another interesting thing is we've actually seen Semphis go away from the op a little bit. They've been tossing that around to some of their other players here, just because he hasn't been doing the best with it, as you can tell by the score. Still pretty high on the score line, but compared to Warren along with the automatic there, just hasn't been the best. But we're going to get started with this once again here. Valence finding the way in for his team. Ocean trades it out into one of his teammates as he shuts down Warren, but he was one with the Tech 9, so not the biggest deal in the world. The big story is that they got control of the site, and there was just nobody in here from eSports to defend it. So smokes him in, mollies come in, they're restricting access, and they've even pushed Semphis back into here with the op as well to try to hold things off a little bit better, to hopefully restrict tunnel access now for players like Els that are trying to sneak back in there.
Yeah, Semphis has got to come up huge, but he's going to look away. That kill from Hades is going to give the opportunity for the flight come in, but Semphis recovers, grabs that kill before being traded off. Automatic, these trades coming in are working so well for Follow eSports. Just Valence, who's pushed out of the B bomb site, he's over at the doors, and he's got to find a kill. The bomb is planted, and Wabbit just no-scopes him to end that, so Follow eSports get up to 15 rounds, and compLexity just seems like they've run out of steam here.
And there you go from Follow eSports, putting it up now to 15 points, squeaking through a very brutal fight for the B site as Follow eSports just bring the heat right from the get-go there, but it does manage to come out for themselves, saving the big guns here too, so they're back into a good position here. Still going to be stretching the money, but obviously, again, we're pretty much at the end game at this point, and for compLexity, they just went for a force buy themselves, so they're not going to have that much going into this. Deagle, 2 Tech 9s, and a Galil sitting over here on the Valens with Sanks. Although he's going to buy up now for a Tech 9 armor, but obviously, again, not really adding too much else, and probably just going to be the same straightforward strategy where they rush 4 players potentially out of the tunnel to try and get their way in, and for the number 9 man over here, Valen's going to play around with middle a little bit, hopefully. But actually, no, they're not going to work into the tunnel so quickly. They just go back for mid control, and they're going to hopefully try to slow things down a little bit here, as obviously this is going to be the last round, and they're going to want to need to try to hold on to themselves as best they can.
Yeah, and this has been a very grouped up Terrasaf from compLexity, really not splitting up whatsoever, just all 5 members kind of running together as a death squad, and right now they don't seem to have the arsenal to really combat Follow eSports. And look at this stack, 4 members over on this A bomb site, no real presence at long either, so they're prepared for this, but compLexity just calls a reverse, goes straight out mid, and it's only Desi there. He's smoked off now, so Ocean's all alone in the B bomb site. He's about to get pinched. He grabs an angle close up to the tunnels, takes some shots. They know exactly where he is, but he wins the first battle, can't get the second one. Once again, the B bomb site goes the way of compLexity, but Semphis can get nothing done, standing by mid doors, waiting for the rotations to come in. He gets eliminated. The bomb's not even planted, and all of Follow eSports is here.
Automatic taking some damage from the heat as he goes for the plant and safe corner. Desi knows exactly where it is. He's going to roll and stops the plant from happening. Now they're back into that site once again here, and Desi just ripping them apart all in his lonesome. Els comes in, and that's going to be the shutdown now. Follow eSports claims revenge for their loss last night in triple overtime. Now they're going to win it outright 16-13 versus compLexity.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate. I mean, compLexity in the 4-on-5 actually gives himself a great advantage. So, I mean, you can't even make the excuse that they played 4-on-5 for a certain, portion of this match. They actually had a good score up. So, just kind of that T side just seemed a little bit stale at times, and they couldn't. I mean, they got into the B bomb site plenty of times, but there were some great retakes. This fast flanks that came in through the tunnel really, really hurt compLexity, and they weren't able to close any of those rounds out. So, a nice defense put together by Follow eSports gives them that win. And we're actually going to take a little bit of a break. That next match is going to be coming up shortly, and that's going to be compLexity versus Winter Foxes, I believe. compLexity with a doubleheader. So we're going to run some ads, and then we'll be right back to bring that one to you.